Hey, coming next on our show, a fantastic woman, very, very inspiring. You got to hear her story. Don Mucci is going to be with us here on Legends and Heroes. As I promised you, a fascinating young lady is our special guest today on Legends and Heroes. She is a mother of three. That's what makes her so special. She is a community hero because she volunteers. She's on all kinds of boards. She's the CEO of Life Squad franchises. We'll talk more about that with her. We got her right here. Nice. Thank you for joining us, Don.
I'm so excited to be here, and thank you so much for the invitation.
You started the franchise, Life Squad franchises.
I did.
How's it go? Life Squad.
Lifesquad.com. Yes, I did. Of all things.
Years ago, my son came home from school, and he had lice, and he'd caught it from somebody at school, and it was just so difficult to get rid of it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people fear that. Let's talk about that. How did that idea, what inspired you to come up with the Lice Squad?
You know, it's a devastating thing for a lot of people, bugs in your hair. It's not too appealing. And as a young mother, well, actually, I'll go right back to the beginning. As a child, I got it a lot. And I was stigmatized and made fun of and teased. And it was just a really horrible experience. And when I got it again as a young mom from my son, who was in daycare, I went back to that negative place. And I didn't like it very much. And I remember back then, pesticide was being used, and that was what the common treatment was. And I thought there must be a better way. And I really don't want anyone to feel bad about having lice. I don't want people to feel stigmatized and negative about it. And I want to empower people and do something about this. So I made it my mission to stop the stigma associated with lice and to stop the overuse and abuse of pesticides on children and our planet by coming up with some very safe and non-toxic cosmetic products that we could use in our process to help remove lice from people's hair. And further to that, I was doing so well with it in Toronto. I was actually a single mother on welfare at the time when it happened. And I was taking the bus from person to person's home, and I was so busy, and people were asking me, "Oh, can I buy a franchise?" And I said, "Well, absolutely." And I really didn't know anything about franchising either. I was a high school dropout, and I had no formal business education. But you know what? I knew I had something that was of value to other people. I had solved a problem, and I just decided, well, yes, I'm going to sell you a franchise. And I sold my first franchise to a woman in Sudbury for $5,000. She's still with me today. Our 20th anniversary is coming up, and we have 35 locations across the country.
35 locations.
And mostly women owned and operated. Mothers like myself now have their own businesses and are operating Life Squad clinics across Canada and making a living for themselves, doing something they love, which is purposeful work. And I know you know something about purposeful work. I mean, that's what it's all about.
When we talk about lice, and people want to know, like, how does this happen? How do you detect them? How do you know when you got lice?
Well, you tend to itch. Sometimes you don't, but eventually you'll find out because it does become annoying. Someone will see it in your hair, or you will get itchy eventually. But it's just one of those things that if you're not checking regularly, you might not know until it's too late, and then you've got a large amount of bugs in your hair and a bad infestation, which takes a long time to get rid of. So I always say to parents, take a peek once a week, and if you check your kid's head once a week, you can catch it early and get rid of it relatively easy.
I mean, some of the people, they shower 2 or 3 times a day. They're so susceptible to lice, aren't they?
Well, yeah, the clean people are the ones that get it the most because lice prefer clean hair. So that's one of the stigmas. People
Have I got a problem? Do you think
I don't think you'll be calling me anytime soon. Where's your hat? Where's your hat?
Give me that hat. Let's quiet this lady down.
That's a segue.
There you go. Folks, how's that? Okay?
Oh, awesome.
There you go.
Looks amazing.
I was reading on your Facebook or your website the other day that people don't have to worry about them with animals.
Nope, they don't affect animals, just people. And from the neck up. So the other areas are good.
and something about the eyelashes and the...
It could happen, not so much.
Mostly it's around the back of the head.
Yeah.
Now, how long does it take to get rid of them?
You call us and they're gone in like an hour.
Gone
You
in,
call
gone in
us,
60 minutes.
You call lifesquad.com and you're lice free that day.
Let's talk about the Life Squad superheroes. A lot of them out there in your franchises.
Absolutely. And you know, our system and our franchisees and our employees have been hit really hard during COVID. You know, all of the schools shut, the camps shut. And that's not just the shutdowns that hurt our business owners, our small business owners, and our franchise system. The social distancing means there's not a lot of lice being transferred. So we've had a really tough year. But I have to tell you, if I can hero anybody, it's going to be my franchisees and all of my employees that have weathered this storm with me, stood our ground, and we are coming out to the other side together. We've all sacrificed. We've all done what we had to do to work together as a team and help each other through this, because trust me, when your income's gone and you go on unemployment and you're dealing with going from here to here, that's a real hard thing to do, but it's easier to do when you come together with others.
You're a mother of three, but you volunteer. What inspires you? I mean, how do you find the energy? Tell us a bit about some of the volunteer, some of the projects.
I've always been passionate about helping others and serving community. I've always been very philanthropic in my thinking, and I just feel that we are all, as human beings, called to serve one another. You know, we have the responsibility to take care of each other. You know, we're living in a very polarized society right now. We're dealing with a lot of division, and it's not the way the world should be. And I truly think that we need to create more unity and more reliance on one another to support each other. And it doesn't matter. I feel like what I'm feeling about where we are right now is that type of polarity and negativity serves nobody and serves no purpose. We need to close that circle into a unity circle and a circle of giving back and helping your neighbor. And that starts at community. That starts at the grassroots level. That starts with our leadership at that level. That starts with us as individual citizens at that level, our civic engagement, our involvement. And I've always been that way, and I don't know why, but I'm also an entrepreneur, so I'm naturally creative. And I naturally have ideas, and I really have to bat them away sometimes because I can get overwhelmed by all of these things I want to do. And you know, you got to focus. You got to stick to your knitting. So I try to pick things I know have value and purpose and that I can achieve. And I believe I can achieve helping create unity.
And in 2019, you were awarded the Woman of the Year, Barrie, by the Chamber of Commerce. That must have felt gratifying.
That was cool, but we've won a lot of awards as a franchise system. LifeSquad.com has won the top awards in franchising for many years in a row, but I don't take those awards personally. Those awards are collaborative. They belong to my team, because I personally would not be anything or anywhere where I am without the people that have come on board to believe in my visions and to come around and support and elevate me. And I elevate them just as equally. We're all the same, and that award is actually an award for all of us. And it felt great because the year after, my general manager won the Employee of the Year. So it was like a full circle, and I was really, really happy about that.
Now, you sit on other boards as we speak?
So I was sitting on the Canadian Franchise Association board for 7 years, and I did the South Simcoe Children's Aid Foundation for 5. And I did the Children's Aid Foundation, South Simcoe, up in Barrie. I also did the Innisfil Economic Development Council, and I did the chamber for a bit. I've stepped back from doing service work on boards because I'm really focused on this Canada's Top Mayor Award project and the content I'm trying to create to raise money and awareness for social causes that Canadians care about. So, and plus I'm
What do you
running
think some of the social causes that Canadians think about?
Well, for me, fundamentally, there's nothing worse than being hungry next to being homeless. So those are the two key ones for me. And then mental health and supporting people that are dealing with those types of scenarios. And it's all as a result of a lot of root causes. And my understanding, and I've kind of lived it myself, most of these things occur as a consequence of trauma. We're living in a very traumatic society. We've had pre-trauma, we've got post-trauma, we've got current trauma. There's just so much trauma that results in an inability to cope for a lot of people, and in turn they turn to coping mechanisms, maladaptive ones in some cases. And so this creates the homelessness, the food insecurity, all of the things that are real problems in our society right now. And I want to try and help fix that in any little way I can. I mean, I did a little bit with Life Squad. I helped spare children from the use of pesticides. It's a small bit.
And you know what? That can really traumatize someone, stigmatize them. And I was reading in one of your articles they wrote about you. I believe it was the Huff Post, or one of them wrote about the fact that it stigmatizes people. Some kid comes home with lice, and everybody in school yucky and ooky, and it's really difficult to deal with for young people.
Absolutely.
And that can cause a mental sort of a strain on them.
It stigmatized me. It really damaged me as a child. I was called names and teased and ostracized. It was horrible. And so again, when you're traumatized, or you're marginalized, or you're ostracized, or set aside, that really affects who you are as a human being and your soul. And therefore, it's hard for you to connect. And all we really want to do as human beings is connect. And so this is where we have the problems with people being homeless and addicted to drugs, and all of these things that are happening is because these people aren't loved enough, cared for enough, given the resources they need. They've just tried to cope the best way they knew how.
Especially mental illness today, people are coming out of the closet, and they're being embraced for it. I know that I fought depression most of my life. From the time I was 8 or 9 years old, I fought depression after a traumatic incident that impacted my life many, many years ago. And there would be days when the sun was shining, there was a wonderful breeze, and you could hear the birds chirping and the laughter around you, and yet you felt like you were in this dark place, and you didn't understand it. You didn't have any idea what it was. It was just naturally you. And many people were embarrassed to come out and ask for that help. That mental help they need.
And sometimes they don't even know what the problem is. For instance, I was traumatized as a child. I had multiple complex traumas as a child, and I didn't even know what was wrong with me. And I spent the better part of my teen years into my early 20s just trying to survive and not even knowing what was wrong until I finally was diagnosed with trauma. That was the beginning of the journey of healing and getting over the things that were affecting my life in a negative way. We have to watch for these people in our world, and we have to elevate them and lift them up and do what we can and provide them the resources that they need. And so I just feel we have a great big job to do, and we can do it, but we have to be coming together.
Well, you have a quote here: I want to inspire people. I want us to elevate one another.
It's kind of what I tell everybody: elevate each other. Again, it serves no purpose or no one to not elevate each other.
And I wonder how difficult it is in these times with this pandemic. A lot of the first line workers, they've really suffered. It's been impactful on their lives. They have been right in the face of the danger, right at the eye of the storm, dealing with this, and they certainly need our help and our gratitude. I wonder if there's enough, if we give them enough.
Well, I think an award is due. I mean, Canada's Top Mayor Award is one initiative where we want to inspire elevated and great leadership to help build our communities. We're already a great country. We're so blessed to be where we are and be who we are. And we can always do better. And then, of course, I totally see awards for these people who have stepped up to serve us all and to keep us safe and healthy, to take care of our loved ones if they've fallen ill. I'm inspired, beyond inspired, to want to see somebody put an award program like that, and similar to what you're doing with iCAN Hero. This initiative, iCAN Hero, needs to go global. I truly believe what you're doing to bring the level of energy and positivity up and acknowledge and recognize people who, ordinary everyday folks who've done what you and I might not have been able to do, tirelessly, without complaint. I don't know if they complained or not. I would have if I had to, but you know, they need an award.
I admire sometimes they do complain. They get upset, they get uptight because they're right in the eye of the storm.
It's
but
hard.
They go right back and do it because of the compassion in them for other people. I want to ask you this too, because you inspire a lot of people. You really do, Don. Who inspired you? Tell us somebody famous, first of all. I love to ask all on Legends and Heroes. Tell us somebody famous out there that we may be able to recognize that may inspire you.
Well, I'm inspired by people like Joni Mitchell, who came along and started her revolution of folk music and wanting peace in the world and keeping things beautiful. And actually, my father, I was born in Yorkville, and we lived on Rhodes Avenue. And Joni Mitchell would come over once in a while and jam.
Yorkville.
Yes,
that
my
was
dad
a hot
was an
area
old
in the
hippie.
60s and 70s.
Yeah, and he was right in the thick of it, and that's where I was born. And they were all over playing guitar and chess and whatever else they
I
did
may have
back
saw
then.
you in a stroller
You
back
might
then
have.
because I was around Yorkville back then, and it was great. I mean,
Yeah.
Jimi Hendrix was everybody.
Yeah.
A lot of famous people went through
Yeah.
Yorkville back in the 60s.
Did you go to the big reunion they had back in the 90s? They had a big Yorkville.
My wife didn't allow me.
Okay, well I went. I went to that. So anyway, Joni Mitchell. I'm inspired by young people. Like, Pink is inspiring to
Yes.
me. People that come from a place where they've had to come from a place of struggle. They've turned their shit into something beautiful.
Wow.
I'm sorry if I can say shit on the show.
Well, we'll just mute that out. But you know what?
No, they've turned their crap into something beautiful.
I admire people like that. That's why I admire Oprah.
Oh yes, I can say add her to the list.
I admire people like Oprah, people that have struggled.
Yes.
She wore potato sacks for dresses growing up.
I got all my clothes at Honest Ed's and Wonderful Willie's. Remember Wonderful Willie's? My dad never bought me a new stitch of clothes growing up at all. I had to. That's why I became an entrepreneur.
One of the most favorite pairs of shoes I bought actually came from the Salvation Army back in the 70s. They were kind of cool.
And that's
nobody knew. I wouldn't tell anybody back then, but I stepped out in them shoes.
Nobody knows, and that's why I became an entrepreneur. I needed to earn my own money to buy the things I wanted to buy. And now that I've grown up and I've done that, I actually buy secondhand. I recycle, I upcycle, because I see the state of the world, and it doesn't need a new garment. It needs somebody to love the old garment that the new person bought and wore once and chucked it away. I truly believe that. I'm not proud. I don't need to have the latest and greatest. I just, I'm just a down-to-earth girl. Give me something nice and shiny and I'm happy.
She is down to earth, but I got to tell you something, folks. She's an angel. In terms of if people are interested in the franchise, or they want to know more about it, how do they get in touch with you there? 888
Lice Squad, licesquad.com, Lice Squad on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You just type in Lice Squad and you will find us.
Let's talk about some of the other things you're doing, because you've come up with a concept. It is just fascinating to me. Ontario's Top Mayor Awards. That's coming up. Tell us a bit about that.
Absolutely. So we were originally starting Canada's Top Mayor Award before the pandemic hit. And the award was created to show gratitude and appreciation to our leaders and to really look for those leaders who were, leading their communities with proactivity and being very empathetic and innovative and bold in their leadership. We wanted to really highlight those leaders in the community, as well as to highlight the people, places, and things that makes their communities great. And a part of that was we wanted to raise money and awareness for charities that mayors and Canadians care about. So the prize money would be going to the winning mayor's local food bank, and then the half of that would also go to a charity or nonprofit of the mayor's choice. COVID came and we suspended the whole thing indefinitely, but we do hope to bring it back in 2022 after the next municipal elections, and we're actually scaling it down to do Ontario first, and then we'll go to the other provinces and do an overall Canada's Top Mayor. So what we're looking to do is partner with some great corporate or industry partners to provide the prize money, which goes directly to the winning mayor's food bank and a charity of their choice, and then with a media company to help us elevate that positivity and that community engagement, because it's so important to really inspire people to be involved in their civic pride and in coming together for the greater good of the community, because everything starts at the grassroots level, at the community level, and mayors are the closest people to us at that level. And to look for those great mayors that are doing amazing things and award them with a prize they can use in their community, I just feel is so unifying for everybody. right? And it gives people an opportunity to get to know their mayors on a personal level and to rally for them and vote for them and say, hey, my mayor's awesome. They just did this program. They just opened up this homeless shelter. They converted a hotel into a residence for low income. You know, it's things like that. I want to recognize and award with this.
A good mayor is more than a politician. They're a leader.
Absolutely. And this whole initiative is not political in any way. It's nonpartisan. We are looking for leaders, individuals who step up to serve their communities and that do it in a way that is empathetic, innovative, bold, creative. You know, those things. Typically, you know, you see a mayor and you think, oh, they're, you know, high hat. No, these are people just like you and I who took the initiative to step up and serve you and I. They're here to serve us. And we want the best mayors we can get.
Absolutely. And I like the idea. I really do. The big question is, what inspired you to put this together, this Canada's Top Mayor Award program? I mean, that's a big undertaking. Why?
It's a BHAG. You know, before COVID, I was really put off by the negativity and the apathy and all of the horrible stuff that was kind of being thrown at our leaders, you know, our municipal leaders. I have friends in municipal politics, councillors, mayors, and, you know, they were getting slammed on social media. But you know what? I think they deserve our appreciation and our gratitude and respect for that service work. I mean, I wouldn't do it personally.
You must love a city a lot to go out there and the campaign, the heat that comes down on you from the opposition, and then when you're in office, the opposition, oh, we've always got the right way and your way is wrong when you're doing your best.
Yeah. It's a hot kitchen, and I'll tell you something. I don't want young people to look at those roles and be deterred from them, because I honestly feel that those are roles that we should aspire our young people to look at and want to do. You just said, why would anyone want to put themselves through that? You got to have a thick skin, obviously, but I tell you, if you have a heart of service and you want to help people, there's no better place to be than to help your people at the grassroots level. And the good thing I like about the mayor focus is it's nonpartisan. We're not playing politics. We're looking for individuals who serve and that inspire others to want to serve, especially our young people.
And I think that Canada's Top Mayor Award is going to inspire a lot of these mayors too. It really is, and the people around them.
Absolutely.
Hey, let's just do it a little better.
Absolutely. We want those proactive, those empathetic, innovative.
Maybe the public doesn't see, and I can tell you, I've worked with John Tory, and I see the compassionate side of mayors. I see that. And how they love their community, and they go well beyond the call of duty, you know, to serve their community.
Why are people not inspired and appreciating that?
You know, I'm excited that iCAN Hero is going to be part of this, and Legends and the Heroes are going to be part of this.
We are going to hero together, and mayors are the superheroes of the community, just like our frontline workers, you know, our bus drivers, our nurses, our, you know, everybody that's out there on the front line that are doing the do need to get the do.
Listen, folks.
Do the do.
I like that. Do the do. That's Yorkville.
Okay.
You're going to do the do. You're going to step up and keep doing it. Keep doing the do. Don Mucci gives back to the community. That's why she is part of the Legends and Heroes show. Got to ask you just before we're running out of time, but what's next? What's up for Don Mucci in the near future?
Well, I just produced a show called the Bring Your A Game Quiz Show with Adam Groh from Cash Cab, and it took 4 mayors on a virtual cab ride, and it was raising money for Food Banks Canada's COVID Relief Fund. People can watch that on YouTube or on the Canada's Top Mayor Award Facebook page, but it's going to be on the iCAN Hero platform very soon. We also did a Canada's Top Comics, where we had comics come on and raise money for food banks. And next, for Canada Day, I've written a song called Heart of Unity. It's being released on...
What's it called?
Heart of Unity.
That's got a nice sound to
it. And it's being released on Canada Day.
How's
and
it go?
It's being dedicated... Oh, I knew you were going to put me on the spot.
But we're going to do it one day.
You and I will sing it together when I come back on your other show, talk about music. So the song is a message of hope and inspiration and a message of coming together for the greater good. And it's being dedicated to all of our frontline heroes and our leaders. So the song was written as a thank you and gratitude to all of the tireless work our frontline workers and our leadership have done over the past year. I wrote it last year when the whole pandemic began because I saw how everyone was coming together, and it was inspiring to me. And I thought this is the way the world has to be on the other side of it, because when we were coming into it, it was so negative and it was so polarized and divided, and it still is in a sense, but I see the rainbow, I see the North Star, and I know.
Well, I'm getting inspired by this woman, I tell you. Don Mucci, it was such a delight to have you on our show. You're an amazing woman, but you're a lot more than that. You are a compassionate individual. You are a legend, and you are a hero. And I look to sing with you soon in the near future.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
All right, that's Don Mucci. I'm Spider Jones. That's it for this edition of What's the Matter with Me?
What's the name of the show?
Legends and Heroes. I'll see you next time.